Imagine you meet a nosy neighbor. Do you know the word nosy? Someone who's too interested in what other people are doing. Or a blunt friend. A blunt person can say what they think without trying to be polite. So imagine you meet a nosy neighbor or a blunt friend. When they find out you're learning English, they might ask, "Why on earth are you learning this language? What are you going to do with it?" How would you answer these questions? Why on earth are you learning English? If we haven't met before, I'm Magdalena, a qualified English teacher. I'm not a native English speaker and I'm not trying to pretend to be one. I am who I am, but I love English and I love teaching it. English has been one of my passions for many years, and I'm very happy when I can share this passion and love for English with my students, when I can teach them useful, practical things. I understand your struggles, the challenges you face, and the fears you might have. In my last video, I shared my personal story of learning English. I hope it inspired and encouraged you to think about your own story. Sorry you had to wait for this video for such a long time. The reason is simply that I'm a teacher and not an influencer. I have to prepare for my lessons and help my students. But I hope now I'll be able to help you too and share something valuable with you. Thank you to those who were brave and shared their stories with me. Remember, everyone's story is unique, and so is yours. By the way, if you find this video helpful and inspiring, please subscribe to my channel, leave a comment with your thoughts or questions, and give it a thumbs up. Your feedback, positive or negative, is greatly appreciated. Now I want you to focus only on the slides. I'll take my image off the screen so you can see them clearly. As I promised in my last video, today I'd like to discuss why understanding your motivations for learning a language is important. And also I'll share with you what the main goal of learning English should be, at least in my opinion, so you can enjoy this journey even more. Are you ready? Let's get started. Again, let's get back to our question. Why are you learning English? Feel free to pause the video and answer. I'd love to hear your answers. If you'd like, I invite you to record them, not just to this question, but to all the questions I'll ask in these videos, and send the recording to my email. I will be more than happy to give you feedback. If not, just answer the questions for yourself. So, why are you learning English in the first place? Whatever your goal is, just make sure you're honest with yourself about it. Maybe some of you say, I want to be fluent in English. If this is your goal, I'd love to hear what you mean by it. What does fluency in English mean to you? Do you want to speak easily, have flowing conversations without many pauses, or do you mean speaking with a minimal accent? Fluency doesn't have just one meaning. Different people define it in different ways. For some, it means having a smooth conversation. For others, it means being able to express their thoughts clearly, understand anything a native speaker says in daily life, and keep a conversation going. Some believe fluency means feeling free and confident in a language. I'm going to talk about fluency more in one of my upcoming videos, but for now, if your goal is I want to speak English fluently, you need to sit down and decide what fluency means to you. Otherwise, as you can see, it can be a wishy-washy goal. Do you know this word wishy-washy? It means weak, unclear, or not very strong, like a faded color or a mild taste. So, why are you learning English? Let's say your goal is to pass a language exam. Then ask yourself, is passing the exam the only thing that motivates me? What will I do to keep improving my English after the exam or after finishing a course? Set measurable goals that you can track. Do you know the word track? It means to check your progress regularly to see how well you're doing. So set measurable goals that you can track. Don't just say, I want to speak like a native speaker. It's too big, unclear, it's wishy-washy. Now, it's okay to have big goals, even if they're a bit vague. Vague, it means not clear or not well defined. For example, I have a vague memory of an event, or an idea can be vague. So it's okay to have big goals, even if they're a bit vague. For example, maybe you want to learn English to move to Canada. Or maybe you want to speak with your boyfriend's or girlfriend's family in their native language. Maybe you want to learn English for a trip to New Zealand next year. These are great goals. Do you see the difference between these and a goal like, I want to speak like a native speaker? Your big or ultimate goal is like a forest seen from above. But to reach it, you need to enter the forest and see the trees, bushes, squirrels, woodpeckers, butterflies, and all the details inside. Or think of it like a puzzle. It's made up of many small pieces that fit together. So step one, define your big goal. Ask yourself, what is my big goal? Again, don't say, I want to speak like a native speaker. It's too wishy-washy. Be practical. Maybe your goal is to move to the US. Great. Okay, step two, break a big goal into smaller goals. Your big goal is like a puzzle. It has many small parts. Step three, identify the specific steps to reach your goal. You need to figure out what to learn to achieve your ultimate goal. For example, your big goal, I want to speak English so I can travel abroad. Great! But what are the smaller parts of this goal? For example, if you're flying to the US, you might need to communicate at the airport. What if you can't find your gate? What if your flight gets canceled or delayed? How do you ask for a blanket on the plane? How do you answer questions at customs and immigration? Each of these is a small part of your travel English goal. Inside it, you have airport English, for example, check-in, security, finding your gate, onboard English, for example, asking for help, customs and immigration English, for example, answering officers' questions, and so on. Knowing only 10 words in each topic won't help you much. That's why I like to teach topics in depth, preparing for all possible situations so you don't feel limited. Be an autonomous learner. A teacher can help, but they shouldn't spoon feed you everything. You should take control of your learning and be goal oriented. For example, if you plan to buy a car in a foreign country, study for that. Learn vocabulary related to car buying, just like an athlete trains for a specific sport. What if you don't know what your small goals should be? Maybe you just want to improve your English in general, but don't know where to start. In that case, make sure you are comfortable with the basics. Introducing yourself, greeting others, making small talk. Small talk is crucial. It's very important because wherever you go, you might need to engage in a conversation. People might ask you questions and you should be able to respond and start conversations too. If you're interested, check out my self-study course, Stress-Free Small Talk, Be Ready for Any Conversation. It's available in video and audio format. See more information below. So now that you have your big goal, the whole puzzle, and smaller goals, the pieces, you need to decide how to reach them. For example, your big goal is you want to speak English to travel to England this summer. A smaller goal, you want to order food in a restaurant in English. What is the next step? Study restaurant and food English. In my upcoming videos, I'll share how to learn words because it shouldn't be about taking a list of words and memorizing it, but I hope you know it by now. Okay, step number 4, set deadlines. A deadline is a time by which something must be done. Research shows that goals are more effective when they have a deadline. For example, a good goal could be, by the end of this month, I will have learned all the important restaurant phrases for my trip to London. So I recommend setting task-based goals. For example, I want to be able to order in a restaurant. or to describe my daily routines, or I want to be able to retell the plot of a movie. Some of you might think, okay, but where does grammar fit in here? Oh, yes, it does. I'll talk more about learning grammar in one of my upcoming videos, but just to give you a quick idea, you can separate speaking from grammar. They're not two separate things, okay? So don't separate grammar from speaking. Sometimes I see posts from people wanting to learn English, like, I'm looking for a teacher who will teach me how to speak English, but I don't want to learn any grammar. This is ridiculous. I'm sorry. If you want to speak a language and have people understand you, you need grammar. And here, I don't mean doing boring grammar exercises in your English lessons. Yes, you might not need to know all the grammar terms like causative or reflexive pronouns and prepositional phrases, but you do need to understand the meaning they convey. There's a big difference between I'll fix my car and I'll get my car fixed, right? Or I cook for myself and I cook myself, right? So if you want to talk about your daily routines, for example, you need the present simple tense. Maybe you won't remember the term present simple, and that's fine, but you should know how to use it. Again, I'll make a separate video on learning grammar. So back to the main topic of today's video. Rethink your language learning goals if needed. What is your big goal? What are your mini goals? How do you plan to achieve them? Talk to a teacher you trust and together come up with a plan. You need a structure. But remember, a good teacher will teach you how to learn. They won't spoon feed or babysit you. Know what you want, what you need, and prepare for it. Now, a final thought. If you don't remember anything else from this video, I want you to remember this one thing. No matter what language you're learning, your main goal should be this. Ready? I want to share my story, express who I am, and add something valuable to the person I'm speaking with. No matter where I am, whether in a grocery store, at a restaurant, in a meeting, buying a car, at a dealership, I want to understand other people's stories and I want them to understand mine. Let me repeat. My main goal for learning English is to be able to share my story, express who I am, and add something valuable to the person I'm speaking with. Now, how can you stay motivated? Have a vision. Be able to see it, to imagine it. Be curious. Be self-disciplined. Celebrate your little successes. Definitely do not compare yourself with others. And please do not believe anyone who says they learned a language in a week. It's true that you can learn some basic phrases in a week, but learning a language is a lifelong journey. Language learning is not a race. Take it slow. Create specific goals that you can measure and track, and take it from there. Relax and enjoy the process. So, what is your goal? To pass a language exam? To speak like a native speaker? To be fluent in English? Whatever it means, right? Or to be able to talk about your favorite topics, the things that are important or precious to you, to be able to tell your story. Share your goals with us in the comment section if you want to. In my next video, I'd like to talk about the fears English learners may have. To fear or not to fear? That is the question. Well, that's it for today. Thank you so much for your attention. Take care and have the most beautiful day. Bye-bye.